Hello, Life Vantage. This is Darren Jensen. I'm coming to you live from our global headquarters here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm here in our little Studio B, and it's another wonderful day here at Life Vantage. And we've got an incredible movers and shakers interview today. I always like doing these interviews with movers and shakers because it represents people at all ranks within our company that are building and growing their businesses. And they're from all walks of life, all backgrounds. And it's really good to see what people do in common and what they do different. And our goal in all of this is to share ideas with you so that you can get maybe one or two or three tidbits of information or things that you may want to try out in your business so that you can also be successful. Because that's one of the great things about this industry. It's not that we have to compete against each other. It's one of those rare industries where you share with each other and help each other grow. And that's what I like so much about it. As always, before we get started, we'd like to give away some shirts or something. This is we'll give away this shirt. I always like this one with our symbol on it. Seems like whenever I wear this shirt or ones like it, people always ask me, what is that? What does it stand for? So we'll be giving that away. So as you join us, just put down your name, your city, state, and country where applicable, and we'll get you into the drawing for it and get it, sent off to you in a few days. So again, name, city, and state. All right, just a couple other announcements. We have, as you know, our Life Vantage Academy coming up, and that's in Anaheim, California, and it is July 13th and 14th. So if you have not purchased your tickets for it or made arrangements, jump on it. There's still time, and it's going to be a great event. It's definitely something you will not want to miss. Okay, as I mentioned, today is our Movers and Shakers. And today we have Dr. Rich Petras with us, and he's a Pro 5 out of, I've never asked him where he's from. I think it's West Virginia. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, you can't see him yet, but yep, West Virginia. And let me just read you a little bit about his background. So Dr. Rich is a naturopath, and he and his wife of 46 years, her name's Tippy, and have been owners of a natural supplement business for almost 30 years in West Virginia. In addition, something I just barely learned is that he's been a teacher and public school administrator for 35 years. He's been a principal, he's been a teacher, and he just retired yesterday. So congratulations to him. He says, next to his faith in his family, teaching and helping people get well is his passion. And so Rich is a Pro 5 with us. And with that, let me introduce him to you. Welcome, Rich. Glad to talk to you today.
Well, it's really, really, really a pleasure to be here. And thank you for this opportunity.
My pleasure. So a couple of questions on your background that I have to pose. All right. What is a naturopath? Just so everybody's clear on that.
Okay, a naturopath is, for lack of another way to explain it, is a doctor of preventive medicine. It's a holistic doctor. A naturopath does not use prescription medication. We do not diagnose disease or treat disease. We treat systemic function or a lack thereof, the 8 functioning systems of the body. And all of these years, my wife Tippy and I worked very hard with people to use lots and lots and lots of supplements and drinking good water, teaching them about their diet, etc., lots of counseling to get people well. And we were very successful. But now that we are with Life Vantage and know the research and the background, we do things a little differently now.
Wonderful. And also you and I were talking a little bit before, and you said that yesterday you retired. Do you want to just bring us up to speed on that?
Yes, I certainly will. 4 years ago, July 31st of 2013, I knew it was time to end my career as a public school principal, a public school administrator. And at that time, I retired, and actually my wife retired also, because when I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to school, she would get up also, and she was really glad about that, and so was I. I knew it was time there, and it was an end of a chapter. And I actually retired from the business of promoting products. We just wanted to be free and not do anything else and enjoy our life. But I did decide to start substitute teaching, and I had been doing that for 4 years and did it a lot. Still seeding into kids' lives, still teaching, still showing them how to be successful and make good decisions. Well, yesterday was that benchmark for me again in that realm of my life, because I knew, even though I loved the kids and I was in it for the kids, I knew it was time, and everybody knew that I was retiring. And so now that chapter is over completely, and my career as an educator in public school education is over. And now my career as an educator within LifeVantage and my organization has just begun full time, 1,000% plus.
Wow. What grades did you teach, and what?
Primarily at East Fairmont Middle School. It's a newer middle school, large middle school, fifth through eighth grade, more sixth and seventh grade. The kids were great. Of course, today it's a little different with children in school. The family as an institution is broken, and lots of substance abuse, and kids have problems, and they need people who care, and they need guidance, and they need to learn how to make good decisions. That's what middle school is all about. And so I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time with them. I planted a lot of seeds, and hopefully I'm believing that those seeds and those kiddos that I feel so strongly about and care so much about are going to come to fruition, and they're going to be successful in their future life.
Well, I want to thank you and really all the teachers out there. They're like you were saying, you're out there planting seeds and trying to help the kids. And as I think back in my life, boy, that middle school, those grades that you named, sixth, seventh, eighth, just kind of seem like a blur, because, you just come out of grade school and then it's right before high school. And man, it's a tough time where they, if a kid can have good role models, that's very helpful.
That is a key. I retired from public school administration in an elementary school, and it was a rural community. And we had a plan, and this is just part of the way I do things in my life. It's all set up as far as short-term and long-term goals, and where do you want to go, and how do you do it, and put everything down on paper and discuss it and change things and so on. But it was a very small school, only 140 students, a rural community, low socioeconomic status, etc., kind of an average school, and had some people transferred and other people transferred in. And we did some research, public school research, and we created a plan together, and I supported my teachers and my kids and my community, and got support from the central office, and that school became the best elementary school in the state of West Virginia the year that I retired. So, and again, my background in education, and that was elementary school, it was important because those kids needed a good male role model. All the teachers were females, and I was the only male, and I wore a tie every day, and the kids appreciated that. Being a role model is extremely important today, not only to our children, but just in the community, in our church, in our other activity. If people can look up to you and respect you, that's very important. We only have one opportunity to make a great first impression, and those impressions that we make and those seeds that we plant are very important.
I would agree, and congratulations on having the best school in the state. That's incredible. Now, as you take those skills and that planning and that training and teach them and teaching systems and roll those into LifeVantage, I'm sure you'll be a major force within the company here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with LifeVantage?
That's really an interesting story. And I'm hopeful that my business partner, Steve and Renee Price, are listening in on this, because Darren, 3 years ago, Steve called me and he said, Rich, listen, I've got to tell you about something that I'm just passionate about. And that was the time, Darren, that I just pretty much retired. I didn't want to do anything else, especially in supplementation. We just wanted to be retired. And I gracefully said, I'm going to pass, Steve. I'm not interested at this time. Well, the years passed, and we have a dog and 4 cats, and our dog Gracie is our baby, and she's a 5-year-old plus chocolate lab and Brittany Spaniel and Beagle. But all of a sudden, she developed lipomas, the fatty tumors. And if any veterinarian, they will tell you that they're not malignant. They don't pose a hazard to the dog directly, but they get so large that they will kill the dog eventually, and the dog will have to be put down. And Gracie's tumors were growing quite quickly. So, and another fellow that I knew that was just a preferred customer of LifeVantage, and he said, listen, Rich, they have a product for dogs called Pet Tandem. You've got to find out about it. He said, call Steve. He knows all about it. So lo and behold, it was probably maybe October or November of last year. I called Steve and I said, is it true that the company that you talked to me about has a premier product for pets? And he said, yes. What's wrong with your dog? And I told him. And he said, oh, great. He said, I know of people who used it for that. It will work. He said, yes. He said that we have a solution. So I ordered it. My wife and I decided this was the way to go. We bought 2 bottles of Pet Tandem, had it delivered overnight. We were very anxious. And Darren, dogs are very transparent in their reactions. I mean, things are either good with them or they're not. And after 6 days, our dog, who was a very friendly, loving creature anyway, he was different. She's a finicky eater, but boy, she took those 2 chewable tablets and she just gobbled them up with eating the whole bottle. She just loved them, and that piqued our interest. But she had so much more energy in 6 days. She was chasing the cats around the house. They were playing. We have 4 acres. She was outside running around in the stream, just different. We knew it. She was like a puppy again. So I called Steve up and I said, Steve, is this really possible? This is what we're seeing. And he said, Rich, well, the Pet Tandem emanated from the human formula, Pro Tandem. And there's so much research. And here's where it began. He said, let me send you a link. The first thing I viewed was the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. And being a naturopath and all those years of treating individuals with natural formulations, but they weren't Me Too products. We always tried to find the best. It piqued my interest, and I was interested in medical efficacy. I wanted to see the research. And he said, Rich, there's a lot. Start here. And Darren, when I watched that, and then my wife sat down, Tippy, and she watched it with me, we became quite intrigued and excited. We all often said, it's so hard being a naturopath and treating and retesting and reformulating protocols and so on to get people well. And we were successful. But we always said if there was just one approach, one thing, a silver bullet, something that everybody could take that would work for everybody, because what we did ultimately did not work for every person. We had to keep searching. We just said that would be the most wonderful thing in the world. And if that ever happened, we'd certainly come out of retirement. Well, the more that we researched and the more that I called Steve back and said, I really like what I'm seeing, send me more information. And then I went to videos on YouTube. And then I started watching, going to Dr. Marvin's doctor's call. And we really, really, really became intrigued. So after about 3 weeks, we called Steve back and said, Steve, this is a business opportunity. He said, the best. It is absolutely the best. We have the best leadership, the best company, a publicly traded company. And he started talking about PubMed.gov and all of the peer-related medical reviews, et cetera, et cetera. And that I really, really related to, and so did my wife. And I said, we have to be involved with this. How do we get involved? And that's when we decided that, yep, we're going to help dogs, one dog at a time, because it's working with our dogs. And then we just said, if it works with the dogs, that's great. People love their dogs, but we have been passionate for 30 years about helping people to get well. And this has got to be the easiest, but yet most comprehensive and most efficient and approach to people taking something and promoting wellness, but also relating to the research. I could go through it all. I'm not going to, but we know what happens in 30 days and 120 days and what happens beyond when the cells perform even better after the 120 days. So we started taking the product ourselves and we started sharing it with others. And it was a little slow at first, but then it started to grow, and it was like a snowball going down a mountain. And I had a problem. I'm really healthy for someone in their upper 60s, but we were refurbishing a house for our daughter, and I developed sciatica, something I'd never had in my lifetime in my right side, very severe. Medical doctors couldn't get rid of it. My chiropractor couldn't get rid of it. But I started taking NRF2 and then added NRF1. And in 3 weeks, my severe sciatica was gone. And my wife had a problem in her left side, pain, probably emanating into pancreatitis. 3 or 4 weeks with that, with the NRF1 and NRF2, it was gone. And now, also, I must report that our dog Gracie, her tumors are about gone. She went to the vet last week for her annual inoculations. Her vet was about ready to go into surgery. They came to get her. She saw that what had happened, came into the waiting room and said, Rich, I've got to get into surgery. But how did you do that? That is impossible in veterinary terms. We just remove them surgically, but they always come back. I have to know more about this. So she's probably going to become a LifeVantage distributor also. The proof is in the pudding. The products from LifeVantage work, just like the research says that they work. And we are just excited to be involved. We are home. We're going to stay home, and we're going to keep working and teaching and helping dogs and people until we can't do it anymore.
Wow. That's a very good background. And I'm so glad that our products were helpful with your dog and also with you and your wife. Just throwing in the standard disclaimer, we're not making medical claims here. But I'm glad that in your personal circumstance, the product had a powerful effect. And that's, anecdotally, I hear reports like that almost everywhere I go. And it's good. It's good being involved with something that can have a change, that can make changes in people's lives. That's the power behind it.
Dramatic changes. I mean, the research is specific. There are lots of Me Too products out there, and some of them are probably really pretty good nutritionally. But we know this is not a nutritional product or necessarily a nutritional approach related to NRF2 Protandim. And we know that the Protandim didn't cure my sciatica or my wife's problem with her left side and the dog. However, we know what the research says that it does for the cells of the body. And so we know that getting the cells of the body causes and getting them to work correctly the way they were designed to work, especially when we were younger. We know if we can get those cells functioning like that again, positive things are going to happen. And we know that's what's going on. And we know that it works. Lots and lots and lots of people are calling back in testimonies and telling us, thank you, thank you, thank you for telling us about this company and these formulations.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the business side of it. So, tell us a little bit about your business. Well, how long have you been with the company so far?
This is our 6th month.
6th month. Okay, so you're pretty new. You just went Pro 5, which is, or which month was it? Was it just last month, right? In May?
Month.
Yeah.
We should have been Pro 5 the month before, but in relation to our philosophy, we were teaching and helping people rank up in a leg that was taking off. Did national calls and helped distributors who were promoting those calls to field calls from the public. I mean, it was Darren. It was 6 days a week from 9 o'clock in the morning till probably 10 or 11 at night, and got to where just we were absolutely exhausted. However, the interest was so profound and so overwhelming. We just had to keep doing it. So I didn't know how close we were, 250 points. And we could have done that very easily, but we made sure that everybody rank advanced that in that leg. And, but we knew we would make it the next month, and we did, and we'll make it again this month. But that's just part of our background, being facilitative, being servants to those people, and again, teaching and setting examples and just telling the good news of the LifeVantage products. And people are open to that. They want to hear it. They want it. They just don't know it's out there. So we've got to tell them.
So how are you growing your business then? Part of bringing on movers and shakers like yourself is to share some of the things that you're using to grow, in hopes that it might trigger ideas in others, or give them ideas of something they could adopt that you're doing. What are maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of the things that you're doing that you think might be helpful for everybody else?
Okay, well, people have to know the truth about the products. Okay, and that's our first responsibility. We kind of teach everybody, and we model a procedure. Do you know about NRF2 activation? That's a question that we kind of use with everybody. And we do use the ABC Primetime Investigative Report, but people have to have something to look at, something to be excited about, because everybody wants to be well. Everybody wants to live as long as they can, and they want to be productive. So it's a matter of teaching people, and a lot of people that we recruit, I mean, probably 85% of the people that become distributors with LifeVantage, or even any other company, they never had any background in sharing information or networking or telling people the good news about a way to get well and stay well. So everybody that comes in, and the new distributors, we try to do calls. We try to be supportive. Not try to. We are supportive. We field calls all the time and help our distributors. But there is a simple, basic, duplicatable approach that we use in our Team Destiny. That first and foremost, a person has to know how to present the products. Present the opportunity for individuals to choose to be well and stay well, and or get well if they're not, and add years to their life. And that all comes back to the research. The research is profound. It's not just 2 or 3 years of research and maybe it works. It's 45 years of research. So we base our approach on the reality of medical efficacy, and we teach a simple approach to all of our new distributors. And once our quote unquote, you use the term movers and shakers, and there are movers and shakers in that leg that went almost out of control and unbelievably grew very fast. But it grew because of a team concept. We work together. Everybody affectionately calls me Dr. Rich. My name is Rich Petras, but it's Dr. Rich, and that's fine. But and they use me to help with the protocols and help with the background of the product. But Darren, if a person doesn't know how to approach somebody about this, they're not going to be interested. And I'll go back to the statement that I made, whether it's the kids at school or somebody that we meet, somebody that's brand new, we only have one opportunity to make a great first impression. And so we teach first impression on our verbal approach to people. And once we approach them and use a little bit of a hook with reality and the research and give them something to look at, to be excited about, and to make a good decision about, then we have other approaches and other things that we've used and designed within our team to help our distributors to utilize the same. Everybody, we try to do it the same so that we know what works. And we have to, there's the term again, teach them how to use this simple duplicatable approach and share. I mean, if a person doesn't know about this company and LifeVantage products, and they don't know that they're available, they're not going to use them. So we've got to teach that approach, and we do that, and we're available. We are available. We are a team that is like a family, and our leaders work very closely together. We help each other, and we want to make sure that we're all successful. Our distributors are successful, and those that choose to be just preferred customers, that they have an improvement in their health and they like it and they know about it and they tell everybody else. And that's really important. People who don't feel well, but yet they experience the results that the research provides, and they know why they're starting to feel better. They don't keep that a secret. They tell everybody. And so those people start to call the leaders back and they want information. A lot of times preferred customers do so well that they want to share it with others. So this process of this snowball rolling down the mountain is not something that's haphazard. It's a process where we teach our distributors the basics, and then we sequentially add other approaches and other means of growing their business and being more successful as they show the need or the want or the reality. It's time that they step up a little bit farther up the rung as far as the means to share. And that's just a continual process. It's every day except Sunday that we work together. And no matter who it is, no matter what the issue is, the phones ring, we share, we support, and we continue to do that. And but it's the company, it's the leadership from your end, it's the support we get also from corporate. But Tippy and I wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for Steve Price and Renee Price. I mean, they took us under our wing and they supported us and they showed us the way. And once we started to learn, it was a no-brainer. We had to continue to do this and in a big way. And we're not doing anything different than we did month one, except using your term again, movers and shakers came on board with other leaders, Sheila Gibbs for another one on the other side. And they just started recruiting some people that were a little bit influential and somewhat more influential when they started sharing the good news about LifeVantage products. And it doesn't take long because people look at the information and they see the validity and the medical validation and they want the products. Most people want the products and they stay on the products because they're beneficial to them.
All right. Rich, well, thank you. That was great feedback. I was just looking at our time, and we're already up on a half an hour. I can't believe how fast this went. So I really want to thank you for your time that you spent with us and for your passion towards the company and the products, as well as your team. I think it's always wonderful to interact with passionate people. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me. You're going to hear about our team destiny. You've not seen, there's an old saying that says you ain't seen nothing yet. And it's true. We know we can't be Pro 10 using the same team. We're in the process of recruiting new people, new leaders, and we're going to use the same process that we did to become Pro 5 to get to Pro 10 and create a lot of other Pro 5s and Pro 10s and successful people. And we just thank you, Darren. Thank you for Light Vantage. We are home. We're not going anyplace else. And we thank you for your support. We thank you for what you're doing in the company and helping us to be successful.
Well, thank you for that, as well as, for going Pro 10 and that we haven't seen nothing yet. My comment is bring it on. Love to see it. Yep. we're here and we'll be willing partners to help you get there.
No, you will. And we're going to get there.
And of that, I have no doubt. For everybody else, again, just a reminder, we're giving away a shirt today. Put down your name, your city, state and country where applicable, and we'll get you into the drawing for that. And from all of us here, as well as from Dr. Rich, we want to thank you for joining us today. And have a wonderful rest of the week. Let's make this month your best month ever in the business. So until later, we'll see you. Bye.